A small town in Limvardia, Northern Ireland. Company, roughly 65 people, called Seeding Matters. Something really weird is happening every day.
So we have 65 people using their brains every day, their creative thinking, their brainstorming, they're coming up with ideas, they're coming up with improvements, because the genius lies in each and every person.
Everyone turns up to work, focused and ready to do the absolute best. But it wasn't always like that. One night about 8 years ago, out of sheer frustration, the owner of the business, Ryan, jumped on old Dr. Google and started looking for the term how to run a manufacturing business better. What he stumbled across was a process by Paul Akers called 2-second lean. It wasn't the usual corporate that you see, based on tracking KPIs, creating SMART goals, you know, all the stuff that the self-proclaimed experts and gurus preach about verbatim. Instead, the 2-second lean process focused on just one thing. You're not going to believe this.
A few weeks after encountering the 2-second lean book, I visited Seeding Matters for the first time to have a lean tour. After their amazing morning meeting, I spoke to Ryan, and like the good accomplished corporate seagull I'd often been up until that point, I asked him, "Hey Ryan, what are your KPIs?" Key performance indicators. He looked at me strangely and said, "We don't worry about that. We just focus on growing and developing our people, and we find that the rest just comes." Luckily, this exchange was caught on video, and the look on my face is hilarious. It was the look of a penny dropping.
It was growing people by creating a culture of relentless improvement. This is what I mean by a culture.
You know, for all of our listeners out there sort of thinking, you know, culture, it's this fancy word that gets thrown around. To me, right, the way I break it down, because I don't tend to like using the word culture either. And it was a word associated with my old club, the Melbourne Storm, a lot. Okay. All culture is, it's standards and behaviours that you demonstrate every day. And it's standards that you accept or you don't accept.
That's why when we work together in a 90-day traction sprint, we focus on you mastering the 3 pillars of lean so that you can start creating your culture of relentless improvement. And when the results start kicking in, you're going to want to keep working with me. How's that for transparency and marketing? Building a world-class culture like Seeding Matters is extremely simple.
And throughout everything, you have to hammer into people something amazing. It must be simple. It must be simple. Why do I stress it so much? Somehow, we have come to believe that the more complicated the problem, the more complicated should be the solution. This is totally idiotic. The more complicated the problem, the simpler must be the solution, otherwise it will never ever work.
In fact, it's just 3 steps. You learn to see waste. When something you stop and fix it, and you make before and after videos of all your improvements to track your progress.
This is something that is probably the hardest thing to implant in people's mind. The eagerness to get sophisticated solutions is immense. What are you here, on ego trip? You want to show the solution which is unbelievably complicated? Or you want a solution that will work?
But that doesn't mean that it's easy.
No, not that people think that it's easy, but it's even more difficult. And it's not difficult from what people think it is difficult.
In fact, majority of people that try any type of business improvement project fail.
What is the percentages, do you know? Do you have any idea? About 9 out of 10 did not continue beyond production.
But that's not you. So when you're ready to buck the trend, you're ready to build a culture and become Australia's version of Seeding Matters, where all of your people turn up every day focused and ready to do their absolute best.
Because the genius lies in each and every person within your organisation. They have the answers. They're the people doing the work. But why do we not ask them?
There'll be a link just under this video somewhere. Click it. It'll take you to my personal Facebook profile shoot me a message with the words Seating Matters, and we'll organise a time to catch up for a chat to discuss whether we might be a good fit to work together.
9 times faster. If I told you, could you make your processes 9 times better, most of you would laugh at me. 10% maybe if I worked hard at it, 20 if I brought in a consultant,